are getting down to the end of stage 2. Unfortunately, one game to go as it is Playday 7. It is LFO versus Rhythm coming up very, very shortly, guys. And look, I'm not going to beat around the bush here. Not really a whole lot on the line in terms of the standings. That's all pretty much locked in now. But what it is pride. LFO is a team that if they can get a win here, suddenly their stage doesn't look so bad. 3 wins, 4 losses. That's pretty good. That's 9 points. I think it's better than their stage 1. And for Rhythm, just find a win. They need to find a win. They have not been able to get one. This is it. It's the final game of the stage. Fun fact, guys. Fun fact. The last time these two teams played, Playday 7 of stage 1, Rhythm won it 7-5.
Ooh, yeah, Rhythm have been a little bit offbeat in stage 2, and I know we sounded a bit like a broken record that they haven't had a really good stage. So yeah, hopefully they can bounce back, and excuse the music puns because I'm sure you've got many loaded up ready to go for this matchup, as yeah, it's definitely going to be a bit more of a chilled matchup between these two. Their positions locked in. It's solely a match for a bit of pride. Yeah, Rhythm though, they just need a win, boys. Come on, get it over the line.
Well, as for Rhythm, I think it's been said, beaten to death. It's been spoken about at many lengths this stage. It's been a rough one. Obviously, the only point that they've been able to achieve came back in Playday 2 back in June. That was an 8-7 loss. So they got 1 point for an OT loss. That was it. It also means that we haven't had any of them come on for a chat for an interview because they haven't been able to get a win. Now, I tipped LFO, but I wouldn't mind seeing Rhythm at least walk away with a win.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we're both secured first place for predictions now because Chiefs won, right? So yeah. I mean, we're chilling. We really do not care who wins this matchup. I mean, we don't care for any matchup really anyway. But yeah, to see Rhythm win would be just a nice little send off. No doubt that they've been going through a really rough patch. Not only has this stage not been overly successful for them, but they've also had Drex recently have to step away from the roster too, and can't help but feel that has been compiling a bit of pain for them. So a win here would just be a nice little reprieve.
Their opponents, of course, LFO, who have had a bit of an up and down kind of season. Mostly down compared to up, but they did defeat the Chiefs. They also defeated Rothlicopter. Of course, 2 teams that are playing in the playoffs. You also can have now an opportunity to defeat Rhythm. So, I mean, they can actually make a pretty good stage too, all things considered. Their stage 1 was only 1 win. That was against the Chiefs. And of course, you know, that's where pretty much the meme has sort of come from. So they only got the 3 points in stage 1. There's a chance they can get 9 points now in stage 2. While then that wouldn't put them in a playoff position, guys, that's a pretty decent little increase. That's not bad.
Yeah, I mean, LFO having a bit of a pre-match party with Darcy, Wedables and Sushi got the lights popping. And on the topic of Wedables, he was, of course, the MVP for the last Playday. He had a huge match against the Chiefs over on Consulate, dropped double figures quite easily, and he was basically just being droned in and told to get kills, and that is exactly what he managed to achieve. So keep an eye on him in this match.
Yeah, certainly a team, I think, with really, really good aspirations and a really good future ahead of them. Got to win this game, though, right? Like, this is where, all memes aside, they just need to be like everyone else and beat up on Rhythm. That's what they need to do. They need to be at least above Rhythm without being too disrespectful to Rhythm. God, well, I can't speak today at all.
I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at Sushi.
I mean, yeah, Sushi's having a great time, so is Wedables. But, you know, if they win this game, guys, right, you put it into the standings perspective, they would be tied on points with Wildcard, and they would only then be 1 point behind Knights and Roffle. That's not bad. I know it's second last still, but it's not bad.
Yeah, it's not ideal. It is an improvement, though, from stage 1. They only got the 1 regulation win in stage 1. That meant 3 points total, 5 regulation losses. So it was really, really rough for them in stage 1. It's a small rebound. It's a small leap here if they're able to get a result over the line here. It's only a small gain, but it means that they are, you know, starting to at least improve a little bit in comparison to the rest of the league.
Let's go and have a look at the map for what is going to be our final map of the regular stage. It's Cafe. So I think we've had a different map for except for Coastline. We saw Coastline twice. So a bit of Coastline, bit of Villa, now a bit of Cafe for our final Playday of the regular stage. Guys, I think it's fine, I guess.
Yeah, no complaints from me. I mean, no Oregon and no Clubhouse tonight, so that's a nice little switch up from what we've expected here in OS, as those 2 maps have been very, very popular, but interestingly enough, they're the first two banned out in this matchup. So, look, can't complain about that one. And Cafe should, yeah, generate a pretty interesting matchup. It is very, very structured at the moment, but does offer some really nice verticality. And we'll have to see whether or not teams will play aggressively into that.
I think LFO probably still go into it for me. Favorites for this game. It's hard to look past them considering Rhythm's stage that they've had so far, unable to find a win. But I mean, arguably speaking, their best chance for Rhythm Guys is, of course, the team that's only one spot above them, right? I mean, it doesn't.
Yep.
You don't really get a better opportunity than that.
Yeah, I mean, if there's any opportunity, it is, and they seized upon it in Stage 1. They're looking to do the same once again here in Stage 2.
Well, just like Stage 1, we end Playday 7 with an LFO versus Rhythm match. Rhythm pulled out the win, 7-5. Can they repeat it once again here to close out Stage 2 this time around? It was on Oregon, actually, last time. So a different change of scenery, but the same sort of matchup. Of course, some different faces as well in the teams themselves as we head over to Cafe for our final game of the regular stage. I should mention, of course, all 5 teams have now secured themselves a position in the playoffs. That's Bliss, Chiefs, Order, and then Knights and Ruffle in that order. It means Knights and Ruffle will kickstart things in the gauntlet. Order will await the winner of that game and so forth. Then Chiefs and then Bliss in the grand final. More to come, of course, on the playoffs later on in the broadcast and later on in the week.
We're casting that, right?
I would assume so.
Okay, cool. Just gonna make sure I put it in my diary, my cute little diary. Do you know what? Do you actually know what days it are? Days it is, rather.
Days it are? I don't know what days it are.
You know what day it is?
I don't know what days it is either.
You're really useful, aren't you?
Not really.
I genuinely don't know if you don't know or if you're memeing.
I mean, it's sometime next week.
Yeah, not wrong. Pretty chockers next week. Oh, wait, is BB playing on the controller? What's that? Waving around the blue controller there, so maybe we'll
Are you going to talk about the bands or not? I mean, you're the... Come on guys, you're the color.
Can you think of one interesting thing to say about basically the 4 most generic bands here on Cafe?
You could just say that we got expected bans on Cafe.
Well, there you go, done.
All right.
Job done.
Cool.
Now we're going to move on. What are we going to talk about now for the next minute and a half while we wait for something to happen?
I mean, we could talk about, I guess, expectations for Stage 3. We could try and set some storylines for them. That's usually what we do. And I think for LFO, as long as they win this game, going into Stage 3, I would look at them as a bit of a dark horse. That it could be a team that, you know, if things go really, really well and they can pick up a few sneaky wins, there's a chance that they could probably sneak into a playoff position. It's a long shot, I know, but I think we're seeing improvement in them, 78% to 22%. Also believe what I am saying. But for Rhythm, the hard honesty is that I just can't see where the improvement's going to come from. Stage 1 was okay, they had some roster changes, and then Stage 2 just a complete calamity. Now, you could technically finish off the stage with a good note if they can beat LFO here, but it's still hard to see them making playoffs in Stage 3. That puts them in promo relegations, and then things get really interesting for them. So that's really where I think both teams are heading at going into Stage 3.
Jeez, you're going to have to take a breath after that long spiel, and you've taken...
Hey, I'm just trying to help you out, man. I'm just trying to fill some time for you.
Yeah, I don't think people realize just how difficult it can sometimes be to talk about things in an early round of Siege. But, well, that's what we're here for, so we can't complain too much. Weddable's getting a little bit aggressive here in Cigar Lounge, and we'll probably expect to see a bit of loose siege in this matchup between these two rosters. Weddable's looking to not back down without a fight. We'll reposition over towards the hatch. Continues to pre-fire these windows to make this control a little bit more challenging for Rhythm, a little bit riskier, but instead they'll find refuge onto the roof, and as we often see here on most attacks, it'll all start at that red hatch.
Not always. Sometimes teams mix it up, but yeah, generally. Top red.
Did I say always? I didn't mean always, but nearly all the time.
Feels like it, probably. Oh, swing from Hills, timed perfectly. That's going to be the opening pick for LFO. Supremacist dropping down pretty early and gets caught. It's been a rough stage for Supremacist, a player that was highly regarded in Stage 1, guys, and has not been able to back it up, to be completely honest, to be quite frank. Weddable's over towards Pixel. Oh, that's an easy kill. Ghoul completely caught unaware. And I think the next step for Wedables, oh, that's just nasty. Hills gets the easiest kill ever. I mean, what was that? What a clean round from LFO, but Rhythm, I mean, come on.
You reckon we'll finish before 10?
10's already passed.
Past 10 o'clock.
We might go back in time.
Rhythm will be hoping they can go back in time after that round.
Oh,
yeah.
no.
A little bit disappointing. Could not get any sort of foothold there. Inside of Cigar Lounge, pixel position proving too strong from Wedables, and picks elsewhere that we saw in the kill feed really mounting against the attack. Not the start that Rhythm would have wanted.
No, definitely not. But I think this is, again, the stage of the development for LFO is being able to just say, hey, you know, we need to be considered closer to, say, Wildcard, Rufflecopter, then closer towards, say, Rhythm. They don't want to find themselves in this sort of no man's land where it's like, all right, we're not good enough for playoffs, but we're way better than Rhythm. They need to actually just straight up be on the same level as Wildcard and Rufflecopter, which is, you know, that 9 or 10 point sort of margin. And you win this game, and that's exactly where they will find themselves. And if they can actually win it, like, and stomp this game, the round differential will be pretty minimal, guys. Like, we're talking -3 or something along those lines. So a -3 round differential, 9 points, 3 and 4. Yeah, I mean, not a bad little stage for LFO. Sure, second last and everything, but as I said, going into stage 3, there's, you know, good signs. And for Rhythm, it's more of maybe what we just saw.
5 seconds to go.
Yeah,
it's not good signs.
The discussion of relegation really starts to get serious
Out to locate a
for
bomb
Rhythm.
and defuse it.
And look, it's not a discussion we really like to have. We don't want to see teams perform poorly. That's not what we're about. We love championing players and teams that perform well. But ultimately, there is a promo relegation system in this league, and if Rhythm continue this trajectory, they could find themselves at risk of falling behind the rest of the pack and having to fight their spot against some pretty spicy teams down in OCL, the Oceanic Challenger League, that are proving to be pretty good. Heard some names tossed around there. Exto, for example, is one that comes to mind, that have been putting in some solid performances and could well be a serious threat. But that is ultimately the doomsday scenario. There is definitely a world in which Rhythm can bring this back. It would take a pretty miraculous stage 3, and that starts here, being able to defeat LFO, arguably the opponent most closely matched to them.
Yeah, and this is the thing, right, where Rhythm need to be treating this game as more than just even a scrim. Like, this is still an official game for them, and they need experience in official games and playing at their best and playing as hard as they can and taking it ultra seriously. Yeah, you're not going to technically gain anything if you do win besides just pride and at least getting one win on the stage, but you need to be treating it like it's do or die. Put yourself in the position where it's like, hey, if we win this, we go to playoffs. That's what you need to sort of have, that sort of mindset. I'm not sure exactly what Wedables is doing there. Maybe a bit of miscommunication, runs straight into Supremacists over towards White Stairs.
Well, it's already an improvement for Rhythm in this round, keeping in mind that the previous was flawless in favor of their opponents. And with Wedables off the board, that's a pretty significant pick considering the form that he is in. It also does forfeit control above him. Rhythm will seize that opportunity, Leb in particular, to establish vertical presence and remodel the floor with that skeleton key. A lot of deep angles can be generated in towards the likes of Coffee and clear out a significant portion of the kitchen as well. Ooh, AFX there under the pump, as you can see from those angles, but will scathe away. Nitro Cell in hand. He may well try and find something back if he times this right. He can get it.
I thought he was on top of it, and he was. He gets the kill onto Leb, and that makes it 4 versus 4. And there's only 35 seconds left, and you have to sort of now wonder, is this just going to be a rush down from Rhythm? And Hills is really trying to deny this hatch. Novaex, though, the swing. Oh, it's perfect with a quick double onto Deptra and Sushi. Supremacist alongside him as well, and this is a nice little push in from Rhythm. They've got the 2-man advantage as well. AFX doing as much as he can, but he gets shut down as well by Novaex.
Oh.
Hills, can he go big clutch in the late round? He might just be able to. No, outnumbered and outgunned, and Rhythm will take the round.
Oh my god, please, my heart. It can only take so much. Jesus, guys, please, just close out these rounds. You can see even Rhythm are shaking their heads. That was a little bit too close for comfort, but they had enough bodies. Supremacist breaking the fourth wall there, just stares down the barrel of the camera and lets us know his feelings at the conclusion of that round. But ultimately, taking Wedables off the board did prove to be very useful, and that vertical control was played well by Rhythm.
Yeah, much better. Navax really just leading the way there. Found 3 in the round. Hills obviously was a bit of a nuisance. Got the 2 downs onto Ghoul and Navax, but there was still 2 players up for Rhythm to close it out, and yeah, it wasn't much more he was going to be able to achieve. And a lot of that started though, if we think all the way back to Wedables, who was running up white stairs with like a minute left in the round, guys. Not sure what the call was on that. Or if there was maybe a drone in place and somehow Supremacist got by it and no one saw him. I don't know. I'm not smart enough to know. All I know is losing Wedables early like that certainly didn't help.
At least you admit it. Look, acceptance is the first stage towards improvement, so...
Yep, thank you.
Maybe one day you'll know Villa, and then you'll actually be a good caster.
10 seconds to go.
Sure, if I ever actually get to cast Villa. Because once a stage does not count.
We did get it.
Yeah, once a stage.
We got it once, but honestly, I don't know if we can actually count that as a proper game of Siege.
Well, actually, yeah, you're right.
You can't even put that on your resume.
I can't. No, I can't. That doesn't even go. I'm gonna do a bit more practice. That doesn't even count. But look, good round from Rhythm. But yeah, LFO. Not sure if that was the round from them either. And are they repeating? I haven't even looked at the site myself. I think they are.
You would expect the color commentator to know, but yeah. Okay, Kitchen repeat here from LFO. Last time we saw Rhythm go for the top-down take. Pretty decent time management, and a lot of that was aided by dropping Wedables basically for free as he was caught off guard over towards white stairs. BB looking to excel the process once again by bringing the Jackal onto the board. With the Inox scanner, he'll be able to see Deptra. Now he's down below inside of reading, and you can see quite a heavy roam here from LFO that Rhythm will need to contest with, so none of these picks necessarily will be easy.
BB just having a glimpse through the Inox scanner, see if he can find any footsteps, and obviously unable to, which is fine. That's good news as well. Also, obviously don't want to go into the mindset that they play too passive now. Just because Wedables got picked early in the last round doesn't mean you suddenly turtle up. You do need to continue to find picks and be aggressive and make it difficult for Rhythm. There's someone who is being tracked by BB.
My device is planted.
Ghoul distributing his air jabs out around the map. One over towards white stairs and the other towards brown, preventing those defenders from flanking later into this round. Still a lot of pressure though can be applied from the site, especially with Nitro cells in hand. Sushi has already used his, but there's still 2 at least in the bank, Hills and Wedables, and AFX may well have 1 as well, but he is currently sitting on those Valkyrie cameras. There we go, he still does have a Nitro as well. So a lot of damage still could be inflicted by this defense. Unfortunately for Hills, he doesn't quite connect his, leaving it in. Oh, I was going to say a 5v5, but Supremacist finally gets the opening pick, and Ghoul doubles down to find another.
2-man advantage again here for Rhythm. They are obviously here to play. It's not going to be easy for LFO. Nice line of sight established as well by Leb. BB extends this lead. Hill's able to get a kill back, at least on the Supremacist, and there's a team kill from Navax, and Hill's also getting Navax too. That makes it a 2 versus 2. No, 1 versus 2. Oh, and there's only 6 seconds left in the round. Leb, he has now got to stick the diffuser, and he cannot get off of this. Hills and AFX can just rush in, overwhelm the site. No? Now they will. Oh, what a calamity of a round from Rhythm.
Okay, bit of BM there. I'd have to assume that AFX actually has his crouch on hold there and not toggle. Either way though, a solid round there from LFO. Not too much really to say about that, outside of it being a little bit messy.
LFO, I mean, they were down 2 players early on, and Rhythm should have been able to probably close that one out.
Yeah, definitely a little bit messy late round from both of these teams so far in this matchup, but bit of scrappy siege can sometimes be entertaining to watch. And I mean, maybe we are shaping up for a bit of a close one here. We are expecting, of course, LFO to be the favourites and to likely extend a lead or establish a lead on the defense, but who knows? Both of these teams have been struggling with consistency issues, and well, actually, is that even fair to say there? Probably not. I mean, Rhythm have been consistently losing. As horrible as that is to say. Maybe, yeah, maybe consistency is.
I mean, I think for LFO, I don't think they've actually been too inconsistent. The only two games where they really faltered were 7-2 loss versus Wildcard, 7-1 loss versus Knights. Everything else, they've been very competitive. And in all of those games, they obviously would have gone in underdogs. Except, I mean, they beat Roffle, 7-5 loss versus Order, that's respectable. 7-4 loss against Bliss, respectable considering the stage that they went and had. And they beat Chiefs. So it would be more so if they lose this game, then you'd say the inconsistency. But if LFO do win this, then I think, yeah, that goes back to what I've been saying, where I think they've actually had a pretty decent stage. But Rhythm, of course, do not want to end the stage winless. They will be throwing everything they've got into it, and they've gotten off to a decent start, but LFO re-established the lead, 2-1.
Cheeky hack drone there from Hills on the window ledge facing out to the west. And I think he just caught another one as well, so that's already a couple of pieces of critical intel taken away from the attack.
Attackers have located a bomb.
Hatch above popped. That will be front for this push from Rhythm. They need to be careful of said players down below, and those air jabs will hopefully aid in preventing Hills making a big play late, especially once Rhythm tried to get control of Lounge. Now, we did see them struggle last time they tried to get this objective, and they were dropping down red, got filtered, got taken down, and didn't really have an opportunity to do a whole lot. So they'll be looking, the attack that is, to try and take down the likes of Deptra. Has been lit up.
Just gets beaten up a little bit, drops down into pillars. At least just fortunate that he's able to escape with his life intact. LFO don't really want to be losing players here. Dapsha just pinging into Cigar Shop. But no one there with a Nitrocell. Only Hills and Wettables have one in pocket. Deptra's already used his. Oh, Deptra. Actually, that was a pre-placed Nitrocell. And now Hills will throw one out as well, but they're already finding the kills anyway. 5-2. Down to just Nevaix and Cool. The round has definitely fallen away from Rhythm.
Oh, that's an angle. But AFX unable to find himself a kill. Nevaix going deep. Sushi has the cross, but he's a little bit too late to find that kill, and Ghoul will punish. Nevaix sends it as well. He drops AFX over towards Cocktail and gets a second onto Deptra. Somehow Rhythm are bringing this round back as Nevaix goes for the plant.
A long way to go though. Still also 37 seconds left of the round. Anything can still happen from here. Even if Nevaix does get this stick, Nitrocell goes out. This is the mark though, but Nevaix gets this plant down. Wettables from Washrooms and across over to Cocktails, but check your right-hand side, Hills. Always check your left and right. And he falls to Ghoul. Leaves it to Wettables. Definitely capable, and he's getting a bit of help as well with the pings. Down to 1 versus 1, and he knows that player is inside a Cocktail. Ghoul, does he have the information? The swing is about to come. He is prepared for it, though. Well placed and well primed. And Rhythm, maybe just feeling the rhythm a little bit here. Oh, Ghoul with the lefts and the right.
Well played there by Rhythm. A really good clutch up to bring that 2v4 back. Nevaix in particular played that round really, really well. He just crouch walked through bar, went for the send, and managed to pull something off. He really probably shouldn't have gotten away with that, particularly considering how much pressure he applied in towards Cocktail to not be traded out. But nonetheless, really well played. And Rhythm, you know, they're crawling their way back. These round wins not necessarily very convincing, but a win is a win at the end of the day.
I think when you actually think about it, the two teams that are playing here, and without, again, being too disrespectful, probably none of the rounds are going to be all that convincing, guys.
Yeah.
You know, there's going to be some messy plays, there's going to be some messy finishes, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. The only thing I'm a little bit confused right now is why there's a tactical timeout from Rhythm.
Yeah, I guess the thought process behind this tactical timeout for Rhythm may be that they feel like they really want to try and establish a lead on the attack, establish a bit of dominance, if you would, over their opponents. Maybe they back themselves to try and get a couple more attacking round wins. And if you have even an equal half or a lead, ideally, that positions yourself nicely on Cafe, which can lend itself into being pretty difficult to attack. Now, with the bans that are on the board, I would say that, honestly, we're probably set up for a pretty close matchup. And again, considering that both of these teams are not going to necessarily have the most convincing round wins, we're probably going to see the numbers distorted a fair bit. But yeah, interesting that Rhythm take their tactical timeout right now. I can't pinpoint exactly as to why they would elect to do so.
Yeah, and I think we would just end up being basically playing the guessing game, and I really don't feel like doing that right now. So we'll move on.
I agree.
Rhythm, though, are definitely within this game. It's been a horrible, horrible stage for them. 7-2 lost to Knights, 7-5 lost to Chiefs, and then 7-2 lost to Bliss, 7-1 lost to Ruffle, 7-2 lost to Order. You're sensing that, you know, the fact that it's 2-2, maybe they can get over this little hurdle of, you know, being completely stomped and at least have themselves a relatively close game here against the LFO.
5 seconds to insertion. Attackers are moving out to locate a bomb and defuse.
Now, we have seen this Valkyrie picked quite a bit here from LFO, and it does feel like they are using this intel pretty wisely. For the most part, we are seeing at least one player from the defense sitting on these cameras quite often and giving callouts to the rest of the team. Now, Deptra with a sneaky one here over towards back alley. We'll see a player outside the garage. Pings out ping 2. I think Wedables might be the one there to pre-fire that potentially, or to contest that, but no. Southern Repel will now be used. Deptra actually does light up Novaex himself. Not enough to find the pick, though.
Bomb located by attackers.
If Rhythm can win this round and just gain themselves a bit of ascendancy, really puts the pressure onto LFO. Rhythm taking their time here in the 5th round of the first half.
Oh, utility clear at Pixel. This is a bit of a throwback. Sushi holding this position and the shield taken down. Previously placed, of course, by AFX. I mean that Sushi's under the pump a little bit here, but he can play on this sort of mini pillar of sorts.
Oh, he's pushed in. That's Supremacist going straight in. Fortunately, though, they were able to at least push LFO back a little bit. Sushi, though, getting a little greedy going into backstore. Now stuck in freezer momentarily. Supremacist, though, already up in washrooms, and he knows the player top white. Still hasn't dealt with that Banshee. And he just gets shut down by AFX. I think put himself into a position where he couldn't really get out of it.
Sushi, if you shoot, you get a kill. Shoot! Shoot! Aw, cool down. Finished off by Hills, who swings wide with the pistol. Could well go for another pick. He does, but he can't connect those shots. Leb too strong on that occasion. Gets his first kill here in round number 5 and keeps Rhythm's hopes and dreams alive.
Oh, Wedables, though. Oh, he's going to get this kill easily. Oh, never mind! Leb! Bit of a cast to curse Leb somehow. Now makes it a 3 versus 3, although Novaex is down. BB can hop on in, try and get him back up. Feeling the heat, though, inside of washrooms. 30 seconds left. Novaex, of course, dying to that, and now BB as well to AFX. Sushi finishes off the round. LFO regained the lead, 3-2.
A solid conclusion to that round for LFO, and look, if it hadn't been for Leb, it probably would have been over a whole lot quicker there for Rhythm, who was struggling again to try and get meaningful map control, and strong presence deep in towards Cocktail and some sharp shooting was enough for LFO to secure that round. And I gotta say, the disappointment of losing that round for Rhythm has got to be compounded a little bit more. They just took their tactical timeout.
Yeah.
I mean, is that a decision maybe that they'll regret? I don't know. But if the goal was for them to, again, draw out or even lead the half on the attack, they've made that a little bit more challenging.
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many bombs.
Just
as
means
they
that
can.
LFO as well at minimum. 3-3.5, not too bad. We definitely prefer a 4-2.5 though, and really put the pressure right onto Rhythm at the switch of the half. Nothing too flashy though from this game. It's been a workman-like performance from both teams, guys. Nothing too
Attackers have located
clinical
bombs.
or flashy or substantial. There's been some old-fashioned siege and some, yeah, there's some mistakes here and there, but it hasn't been that bad either.
Seconds to insertion.
Just a bit of a stock standard kind of cafe game that's playing out between these two right now.
Attackers are heading out to defuse a bomb.
It has been that way. That said, a bit of a wildcard brought out here from LFO in this round, deciding to bring the cap can, depth jar, in place those traps around the map. Maybe try and inflict some damage onto Rhythm. Do you remember Capcan traps when they first came out? Were you playing the game back then? Oh. Poor depth jar. I cursed him. You remember when you used to walk into them and they instant killed you? And they had like a massive hook on them, and they actually had no laser, I think, back in the day. No, they did have a laser back in the day, now they don't. Wild times, sorry.
You're just hurting my brain.
I'm just reminiscing.
Good start for Rhythm though in the final round of this first half. Terror Train can be sent out freely. That's going to clear a lot of utility.
Boom. It's unfortunate for Wedables, who will now need to fall back a teeny bit and doesn't have that to play. Oh, Hills. Surely that was a replicator. Yeah, it was. Okay. Whew. Got a little bit nervous there for BB. Had that have actually been the Gemini, but I don't think Hills got spotted. Leb taken down. That's unfortunate there for Rhythm. They do not work out where Hills is, or if they did, do not react appropriately. And Alpha get the opening kill.
Minute and 10 seconds remaining. 4 versus 4. Calm before the storm.
Oh.
Does he swing or does he not swing? It's going to be BB who dies out, and Sushi, who did not swing, gets pushed on by Novaics. Maybe he should have been the one that was aggressive and swinging in the first place. Would have got the kill. Wedables, that's a nice swing.
Bang.
And gets the second. Bang indeed. Ghoul at least gets one back, but he's got more to do down 1 versus 2 against Hills and Wedable. Only 5 seconds. He's got a bit of time to do it. Defuse up, though, is being guarded. No more air jabs either.
Stuck inside of Laundry. A rock in a hard place, if you would. Has a ping there on the 90 corridor. Ghoul could potentially swing this. If he finds this as a 1v1, but he misses the shot initially. It's messy from both. But Wedables will win it out in the end for LFO to close out the half.
Welcome back to the Oceanic Nationals, presented by Samsung. So far, it's a 4-2 half in favor of LFO. Looking to not only close out this game, guys, but also close out their stage in a pretty good fashion. Technically, would be a bit of a winning streak if they win this one. 7-4 over Chiefs, and then a potential victory over Rhythm would leave LFO looking pretty good going into stage 3.
Yeah, look, probably going to be challenging for them to carry over that momentum over the major break. Don't know how long that break would be. Probably a month and a bit, I would presume. I don't know the exact dates, but yeah. But it is a good foundation, I guess, that LFO is starting to establish for themselves. Keep in mind, they've already improved upon their stage 1 result in terms of total points accumulated, and they could well improve upon that even more so if they get this win here. And over the break, they can continue to work upon those foundations and really try to work hard, try and crawl their way out of a potential relegation position, keeping in mind that both of these teams seriously under threat when it comes to the end of the year.
Yeah, this is usually where, for Rhythm, things go pretty bad. It goes down south, right? This sort of point of the matches that they've had this stage. Maybe get a round or two early on, and then it just all goes haywire, and LFO would, in the case of other teams, go on and run away with it. 7-2 or a 7-1 sort of victory. See if LFO are capable of that, though. Heals on the Kali.
Yeah. Trying to clear the lounge wall, I think it was. And I believe it was also successful. Now I would assume there was a new jammer on that. I guess that was probably the play there from Hills. That will allow Rhythm, or LFO rather, to open up that wall if they get control. Oh, BB. Wait, are they in bar? Okay, they are. Right.
It's Leb who finds the opening pick with that Nitrocell. Rhythm have been in this sort of position, though, in this game where they're able to get these opening picks, but unable to capitalize. Wettables. 8-4. And Supremacist, though, just catches AFX and regains this lead for Rhythm. Although not for long. Now 3 versus 3.
Yeah, Supremacist misdrained there by the attack, able to sit inside of backstore and get a free kill. Thankfully, though, by LFO, it was traded back eventually. Now with above control, Wettables can use that sledgehammer and try and disrupt down below, remodel the floor, and maybe find a pick or two. Decent amount of time to work with here. 50 seconds is still available to the attack. Wettables doesn't see anything at 90, doesn't see anything towards the back of reading, and now will likely fall off. Deptra and Hills already falling off themselves as they try and shape up for an execute.
Yeah, I think they're really just trying to find one more before they go for a bit of a default plant. Leb maybe with a flank here that can really undo this attack of LFO. He waits and bides his time. Still, of course, one more gas babe, and that's going to be thrown out. No more now for BB, for Nevaics. 10 seconds left. And yeah, this is probably going to be a Rhythm round. I don't see Leb not getting at least one here. He'll get 2. 3 for the round. That's going to be the round. So obviously, Hills can't do anything but try and stick this diffuser, then get off of it. Playing the Kali. It was all going to be too much. Good start to the second half, though, for Rhythm.
Good flank there from Leb over towards 90. Make his way up the brown stairs to find a very cheeky 2K. Now, it looked like maybe they were anticipating it. They were watching that angle, maybe just being proactive in that sense. I did see someone from LFO sitting on a drone, so may have been the case. But either way, a really strong play there from Leb. Bit messy on the top floor here as well for LFO. Not clearing Supremacist aside of backstore, ultimately making the execute quite tricky for them. And Hills in that 1v2 was never a serious chance. He had to stick the bomb, and even in a post plant with Kali, it would have been very, very tough.
Well defended for Rhythm, and yeah, very important round for them to get. As I mentioned earlier, it's been a rough stage, and most of the times for Rhythm, it's been those 7-1, 7-2 sort of performances, but they've had a couple. And when I say a couple, they've had 2 performances where they've been able to get at least 3 or more rounds. Now, that was a 7-5 loss versus Chiefs and a 8-7 loss versus Wildcard. So they're right in this game here, Rhythm. Opportunity is theirs. It has presented it to them. Especially now on the defense here on Cafe. Really good chance for them to maybe win a couple of rounds in a row. Gain some momentum, put LFO on the back foot, force them to take attack time out and maybe think things. Or can LFO maybe bite back quickly, re-establish that 2-round lead, go up 5-3, and maybe put a bit of doubt into the minds of Rhythm.
I like this from Rhythm committing to the Meat Mozzie combo, maybe reading into the fact that LFO are naturally having some issues in draining out the map and trying to make that difficulty curve even steeper, and maybe allow some of these more aggressive players to get away with quote-unquote rat plays, maybe play a little bit sneakily. That said, a confident take by LFO, already pressing into prep, looking to get laundry open, oh, rather, bakery open on the ASAP.
Oh, Hill's got the opening pick, but I mean, wasn't going to be able to do much more after that. Nevaex shuts him down. 4 versus 4, very quickly into the round. LFO might continue on with a push through bakery here, but if they do, I think Rhythm will be well positioned to stop this attack. E1D is going to keep them still. Nade from Wedables will get the kill onto Nevaex. That's going to at least open up the front line a little bit. Sushi getting one onto Supremacist, but he immediately dies for it. 2 versus 3. BB and Ghoul, though, well placed, but it's Wedables who's continuing to hit his shots. Deptra landing the important one to close out the round. That was a pretty quick one, a fast one from LFO, and they do regain that 2-round lead.
An opportunistic play there from the attack, taking swift control of Bakery and Prep, and a really nice aggressive swing at the very early stages of that round from Hills to get a kill with the snipper, which we don't often see, so that was pretty cool. And from there, they steamrolled their momentum to be able to close out that round. LFO now a single round away from claiming match point, but standing in between them and that is yet another kitchen defense. So Rhythm will be looking to tidy things up, and we may well see an extension in towards Bakery, or at least maybe a bit more intel with both Valkyrie and Mozzie on the board to be a bit more aware of that push.
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many bombs as they can.
LFO just edging closer to closing this one out and finishing off this stage in fine fashion, in fine form. Been a monster game from Hills and Wedables. Both have combined for a total of 21 of the kills on the side of LFO.
Attackers have located a bomb.
How can Rhythm respond here?
By winning 2 rounds.
10 seconds to go.
Yeah, that's one way to do it.
They've got to find their rhythm, which has been a little bit of a struggle.
Attackers are
I think,
heading out
honestly,
to defuse
they
a
just need
bomb.
to tidy up and not give away free picks. The fact that in the last round you let Hills walk straight into prep, swing and get a pick is just something that should never really be happening. You should, at minimum, have intel on that push, or secondary, a little bit of pressure, or at least something to stop the attack from playing so aggressively. On this occasion, though, Hills actually going to push towards VIP. Nevaex tricking Freezer Wall. Ghoul, his position revealed and compromised as that deployable shield is taken care of. Leb looking to provide some additional support, but is droned out from reception. I like the change up here from Rhythm, but it is a little bit slower. As I say that, however, BB on the Mozzie will be taken down.
There's the E1D out from Sushi. LFO with a man advantage. Something that Rhythm have actually been the team having over the last 2 rounds or so. Landing some opening picks, and it's LFO, especially on the attack here, and it can really overwhelm Rhythm, just like they did in that last round prior. Ghoul's already throwing out some gas babes. That was the first one thrown out. We've got a minute 40 left. It's not ideal for Rhythm. Maybe just feeling the heat. They still have 2 nitro cells, but LFO really establishing control above.
Leb still around this position, so that early intel gathered by LFO not really acted upon. Instead, they are doing some nice work up above in mining. Able to create this line of sight from pillars down through museum entrance, down into the kitchen hallway to cut off that rotation from the double door. Another cheeky line of sight as well here. We'll need to apply pressure on the likes of Nevaex, sitting alongside Coffee, trying to protect Freezer with Ghoul, but he gets lit up. He is forced back. Ghoul now under the pump to really go big here for Rhythm.
Oh, he gets him! Thought maybe he would be outside of the radius, but Wedables gets taken down. So much for being under the pump. It's 4 versus 1. Who's under the pump now, Guz?
I think AFX, in my professional opinion.
Which does not amount for much. Rhythm with a much needed round win. Because look, it wasn't shaping up to be going that well, but boy, did they pull it back very quickly. We could have easily been staring down the barrel of a 6-3 match point lead for LFO, but Rhythm extend this a little bit longer.
I don't think we're going to finish at 10 o'clock. Sorry, I was just stretching there. I'm getting a bit stiff in the back. Carrying you. This stage is it's taking its toll.
I just don't know how you can say that off the back of that last round, but anyway, you do you, Guz.
Wow, what a stage this has been, and Rhythm still on the hunt for their very first win, and honestly, they're not that far behind their opponents here. There is a very real opportunity that Rhythm could get the job done. To even out the scoreline, however, they will need to successfully defend Bar and Cocktail, which has been a little bit mixed. I do like the adaptation here, though, from Rhythm, electing to bring the Castle on this occasion, as well as the Aruni. On top of that, they also have the Wamai and the Jaeger. So that means there's going to be a lot of utility to deal with and a lot of projectile denial to play into that. So LFO will need to be very careful, very mindful of how they expel their utility, or they could find themselves running dry pretty quickly, which will make clearing out the likes of Cigar Lounge on screen now very tricky.
One thing LFO have actually done pretty well as the attacking team is really getting into their positions quite early and establishing things. It was more so the late round. It's one of the castle barricades dealt with. AFX also just peeking in, having a few shots. Nevaix roaming around Bar. Oh! If he wanted to, could have just continued to be a little bit more aggressive, but falls back upstairs now to pillars and will now roam around. Hills ended up making his way in.
Oh, Wettables will drop, gets lit up in the process. Now needs to try and play close with the Skeleton Key, but that player will drop down the hatch. That was BB, able to scathe away. Team up with Supremacist over towards 90, but Hills will take him down. The trade misses the mark. Hills almost hits the 180. Doesn't quite land, however, and BB can trade it back.
And Wettables is down, although he's just been brought back up. Down but not out, and now still standing. Minute 30 seconds remaining in this 10th round, and it's again just back and forth and very hectic and chaotic. A bit sloppy at times as well. Thought maybe Hills was going to be able to get that 180 headshot. Didn't quite happen. Nevaix still holding close to Pixel, but he's expecting a bit of pressure maybe from White Stairs. Minute left.
Still a 4v4. All the key angles being held here by Rhythm. LFO desperately looking to try and find a pick, find it in there. It may be. Oh, it's Ghoul and Nevaix both to fall. Sushi goes deep, but gets traded back. The swing from BB with the SMG lands. Leb as well lands his shots. It's now a 2v2.
Still plenty of time. LFO do not need to rush this. Leb's half health. BB very low. Leb now also one shot away from death. Deptra and Wettables. And now it's actually a 3 versus 2 because they got the revive onto Deptra. AFX, though, gets his head taken off by Leb. Once again, 2 versus 2, but this time there's only 20 seconds left. Wettables, big time shot. Now it's only BB that remains for Rhythm to somehow stop LFO from achieving match point here in the 10th round. He's low on health, but if he can swing out, he should be able to get both pretty quickly because they are both really low in HP. Just has to stop this from being successful. He doesn't push fast enough. He does get the kill though, but now his position is known to Deptra. Or is it? He moves around. He's playing hard to get. Oh, he's pinged out. And now he's just slowly pushing over towards Deptra's position. He swings. But Deptra had the information. And in the end, LFO get the round.
Oh, so close there for BB. He was only a microsecond away from being able to deny the plant. Had he have done that, kept it in red time, I highly doubt we would have seen the same result. Deptra would have been forced to try and pick up the kid or find the kill, and both of those would have been very, very tough. So LFO managed to get away with that one. 6-4 now the score. Great effort by Lev as well. He was in a very awkward position for a lot of that round and did a lot of work, but again, it wasn't enough.
Not enough in the end. And now match point beckons.
Attackers need to locate and
Can LFO finish off their stage on a high note? Or can Rhythm maybe just continue this stage for a little bit longer?
Time will tell. Not many opportunities left though for Rhythm. A single round here for LFO will be enough to seal the deal, lock in a few more points, and end their season on a high. I've got to say, I've got to respect the determination from Hills to continually play Kali. It is an operator that sees basically no play at the moment in competitive, and which can be pretty niche. But with Thatcher off the board, can aid in utility clearance, and honestly, he's been making that sniper SMG combo actually work out quite nicely. So can't fault him there.
Match point. Does this nightmare stage for Rhythm continue to become a winless stage? And for LFO, half decent stage considering, I mean, if you had have told them at the start of this stage, guys, 3 wins, 4 losses, but 9 points and a pretty decent round differential, they probably would have taken it. All things considered, not really a team that many expected to be fighting for playoffs, and yet, in the end, only 1 point away. Nice run out from Leb. Gets through to Hills. The Kali has been an interesting choice in this game, but an effective one. Hills has been playing very well, and it's a man advantage for Rhythm.
Cool prone over towards Cocktail Balcony. If he isn't droned out, he might be able to go for a play, but he's dead meat if discovered by the attack. Just holding down the angle, and there's that drone. Can Ghoul stay alive? He does, not picked by LFO. Safety found over towards Pillars, but no safety for Sushi. Supremacist again inside of Backstore. He's a menace from this position, and Rhythm doing a good job to hold on.
2-man advantage. This is where you can put that little bit of pressure on that. Oh, easy kill for Supremacist. Rhythm should be able to close out this round. Barring a catastrophe. We've seen some comebacks tonight, though, in particular rounds. I wouldn't count out Deptra and AFX. Certainly capable. And still a minute left in the round, although Deptra just gives away that position. And he couldn't quite get the elimination onto Supremacist despite him being so low in health. He continues to peek, it continues to be annoying, and to just make it very difficult for Deptra. Deptra, though, with the
Wait,
pistol.
he got pistoled back.
He got pistoled back with a headshot. He types good night in chat. Little did he know Supremacist had basically no health anyway.
Still counts.
30 seconds left, 2 versus 3. Now he can start to push into Pillars. Rhythm surely can't finish their season off like this. Not like this one. Oh, Ghoul. Oh, he misses big time. 3 in the round now for Deptra. 20 seconds left. It makes it a 2 versus 2. This should have been round over. Leb with the Nitrocell. Throws it. Looking for that default play, but no one's there. AFX, they're going for something different. Headshot onto Leb now. It's BB with only 5 seconds left. AFX going for the plant, and he gets shut down by Deptra. That is it. What a finish from LFO on the round to close out stage 2 of OCN regulation. Does LFO mean... Well, it doesn't really mean anything for LFO, I guess. They don't go anywhere. They're still second laughs. But hey, not a bad stage.
they have something to smile about, which is a nice change of pace, and what a way to close things out. A nice little clutch there from AFX and Deptra, and unfortunately for Rhythm, I think that really does encapsulate just how unfortunate their season has gone. But look, on a lighter note, again, LFO, they get a dub, they improve upon stage 1, and who knows where this roster can go next.
Exactly right. And look, I think that for me, this is a team that has got potential, maybe not being, say, best in the region, but maybe a playoff team, guys, if everything goes right in stage 3, if they can have a really good regular stage 3 and find themselves in that 4th or 5th place position, I don't think it would be otherworldly. You just, in this stage with how close it is, you look at them in their stage 2, they're on 9 points. If you just flip one result, say the wildcard game that went to OT, you win that in regulation, they're in playoffs. That's it. That's as simple as it is. I know it's a lot of ifs and buts, and you can say that for all of the teams, but that's... Oh, so that was Rhythm, but still, I mean, LFO, you can flip any one result, and they're in to playoffs. So,
That was my reaction for a bit of this game. I'm not gonna lie, it's a pretty sloppy siege, but it was interesting, and I think this honestly gave us a bit of a window into what has been going wrong for some of these teams. We saw on the attacks, their droning was a little bit lacking. There were a couple of these messy completions to rounds where ins were given where they shouldn't have been, and overall, look, these teams do have a lot to work on and a lot to improve. They know that. They don't need me to say that, and the results say it for themselves. But hopefully, again, they have a decent break between these two stages and they have an opportunity to bounce back. I mean, we saw players step up once again. In this matchup, Wedables had a decent one. Hills was actually a standout, had a really strong defense and still fulfilled that Kali role nicely on the attack. On the side of Rhythm, pretty consistent across the board, so you can't knock them on that. But as I said, a lot to work on, and hopefully we see that improvement over the break.
Yeah, and look, obviously, I think for Rhythm, you can take a little bit out of this game, sure, as you said. Maybe there's some sloppiness, but I think ultimately when you look at their team and you look at those player ratings from top to bottom, it's actually pretty close, and I think that team probably should be doing better than winless, but I think it also shows how difficult this can be, because that's still a pretty decent team, and I think, honestly, and let's be real, they're going to be in promo relegations in Stage 3. I don't even know if they can avoid it. I don't know what they would have to do. It would be astronomical. But I think that there might be some that is actually surprised when they go up against some of those OCL teams. Then I think they will be able to hold their way. I don't think it will be like, a complete walkover. And for LFO, that's basically their goal, right? Like if there's any goal for a team going into Stage 3 that is LFO, it's to somehow avoid that promo relegation. That's it. Simple as that.
Yeah, I think we'll be surprised when we get to those promo relegations if these two teams or even one of these teams are in that, just how strong they probably are against the OCL counterparts. They're still going to hold their weight very well. That said, we do need to see them continue to improve and gain some confidence and momentum heading into that, because there'll be nothing worse than if they somehow manage to go downhill from here. And I know that that will be their goal over this break. Continue to improve, continue to gain experience, and hopefully they can start to pluck a couple more wins, try and head a couple more games to OT and scrape some more points. Because yes, the standings are really, really close, but there's no doubt that these two teams were still trailing significantly behind the rest of the pack.
Well, I don't think LFO were. They have finished on 9 points, only 1 point away from the 4 and 5 position. Let's go and have a chat with our MVP from last week. It is, of course, Wedables, who you didn't quite match last week's performance, but that's okay. We'll give you a bit of a break, mate. Big win. And I think that one thing that I've been sort of saying on the broadcast is that, when you look at your stage and you look at the numbers, pretty good round differential. It's not too bad. 3 wins, 4 losses. Like, it ended up being a pretty okay stage and maybe sets things up for a Stage 3 run of things.
Yeah, look, we're definitely proud of our Stage 2 performance over our Stage 1. 3 wins instead of 1, definitely a big improvement. Sucks we couldn't close out some of those extra rounds where we got those L's and at least push it to OT. LFO don't get overtime as the 2 stages. Look back, I don't think there's one game went to OT. So LFO get to 6, we win. If we don't get to 6, then we lose. Like, LFO don't get OT. That's the way I see it. But yeah, if we definitely get to push some of those games to OT, then I don't know, that's our ticket into playoffs, I feel. But We're not upset or anything about our performance this stage. More happy with ourselves that we did get 3 wins, taking down, Rafflecopter Chiefs and now Rhythm. Yeah, there's not much more to say besides we're definitely in a better state of mind knowing that we didn't finish dead last with 1 win.
Yeah, I would agree. I think you guys have set yourselves up with a nice foundation heading in to stage 3. Where do you realistically see you guys finishing in that third stage? Is there a goal that has been set, or I mean, even if you want to set a cheeky goal now, where do you expect to finish in that third stage?
Look, at least hit playoffs. Like, as long as we make it into playoffs, like myself personally, I don't really mind where we make it. As long as we make it into playoffs, that's just my goal. The boys probably, like, nah, first, but like, I walk before I can run, just make playoffs, then go from there.
Is that the next step for you guys as a team, being able to do better in those losses so that you are at least dragging out some extra rounds to force OTs and performing better under adversity when, sometimes things aren't going your way, but also just turning, say, a 7-5 loss into an OT loss or something along those lines? Is that just that next step where maybe over the break you look back at some of those games and think, okay, let's go back, look at our losses and see how we could have etched out a few more rounds?
Yeah, definitely need to work on how to push those rounds more to, our favor. When we get a good start, then we just, troll a little bit, give away a pick or 2 here. And we got to work on like our comms, our positioning, and how close we're playing together. Make sure our refrags are there, closing out those rounds that where they're meant to be LFO rounds from the start, and we just throw away. We got to stop all that, and yeah, then hopefully we can start closing out games to, our win in regular time, or even go to OT if we're down. That there will change up the standings, and not just like us being up on the ladder, but the entire ladder overall. Because losing those games where you can push it to OT, that could push us up to at least playoffs, or even push another team out of playoffs. Like those OT losses, even OT wins, change up the ladder so much now. Like, you can see that we're on 9 points and still out. Like, if we got an OT loss, we're in playoffs. Like, even though you lose an OT, it's still a big deal to get that extra point, and it means a lot.
Yeah, Wettables, now that the standings are completely set in stone, I'm keen to hear your thoughts. Who do you think is going to be the stage champs?
Bliss or Chiefs. That's my point on it. Bliss or Chiefs. I want to be in a 5 grand final. Bliss or Chiefs, 5 maps. That's how I see it going.
Yeah, I think a lot of people would probably be going with that one right now. We'll let you go. Final shout-outs, I guess, and of course, you guys looking for an org.
Yeah, definitely looking for an org. So if you want an OCN team, slide into my DMs. Give me an offer. I'm happy to take on any. And yeah, thanks for the support in the chat. And yeah, we'll see you guys on stage 3 and hopefully making the playoffs.
Certainly will, mate. Best of luck in stage 3 for LFO.
Thanks, guys.
Well, they end stage 2 with a winning streak, guys. 2-0 over the last 2 weeks for LFO. Not a bad way to finish stage 2.
Yeah, hopefully we get to have some more chats with Wettables in stage 3. Lovely to talk to, and of course when they do winner interviews, so those opportunities can sometimes be limited for the teams that aren't able to push the distance. And yeah, I really like this positivity. Heading into the third stage, the team does believe that all it's going to take is just maybe even some small steps, some small improvements, walk before they run, as Wettables said himself, and they might be able to push more games to overtime. And as he said, the margins at the moment are so fine, so close. A couple of more games leading into OT, even if they're a loss, could be enough to get yourself in a playoff position.
Let's go and have a look at the results from Playday 7, our final Playday of the regular season. It was pretty much a one-sided state of affairs across the board. We kickstarted it off with a must-win do-or-die game between Rafflecopter and Wildcard, and it did not live up to the billing, guys.
No, it did not. Yeah, I mean, there were some wacky results tonight. Those first 2 matches were just so incredibly one-sided that I don't think anyone would have anticipated them heading into tonight. They were both slated as 50-50 matchups. They were only side-by-side. Both of those teams were side-by-side one another in the standings, but the result not quite reflective of that. Later in the night, though, we got a really good matchup between Bliss and the Chiefs. Unfortunately, Bliss unable to continue their perfect run here in stage 2. They will only lose 1 match throughout the regular season to the current champs. And then that last matchup was a pretty spicy affair over on Cafe, and unfortunately Rhythm are winless in stage 2.
Let's go and have a look at the predictions and see where everything has fallen. I think it is me and you at the top. Yes, it is. No one else is even with us. I mean, it's just this easy. I think, what's this now, like 3 stages in a row? I don't even know, guys. We just keep winning.
Yeah, easy dubs out here, so I can't complain too much. A little bit disappointed that I went for the Knights in that second matchup, but it is what it is. I could have snatched a victory. I'm just happy that I didn't go for Rhythm. I was thinking tonight I was definitely going to regret, but I think I picked Rhythm twice throughout the regular season, at least once, and if I hadn't have picked them tonight and they plucked a win, I would have been disappointed. But no, it wasn't meant to be, and yeah, we retained first position.
Now, moving on though, our MVP of the night, guys. I mean, it was, well, there was a couple, I think, really. There was probably 2. But once we saw what God Legion did in a pretty big game, first versus third, now technically second, I mean, he was just unstoppable. I think it was OJ in the first match where we were like, oh wow, who's going to be able to top that? God Legion did.
Yeah, OJ, yeah, again, just a quick shout out, had a fantastic night, but God Legion was just in a whole another league, and I think our decision was really set off the back of this clutch. I mean, it was only the second round of the matchup, but a massive 1v4 post plant. Yes, Digital said that he had a decent amount of intel to work with, but still to pull that off and have the composure is just absolutely huge. You could see his reaction, absolutely ridiculous, and just across the board, so sharp on so many occasions. And yeah, I wouldn't want to be facing off against him on the Zofia.
Certainly not, and I think it really goes to show the Chiefs when they've got a player like God Legion, what he can do, and he can pop off, especially when you've also then got alongside him guys like Worthy, guys like Vast, the ever-improving Digital, one of the best supports in the region in Fisher Guy. There's a reason why these guys were the stage champions for Stage 1, and they will, of course, be looking to go back-to-back as a team in Stage 2. Which, you know, leads us to, you know, the playoffs, guys. Are you sensing what I'm sensing? Chiefs, Blizz, is it going to happen?
Oh, yeah, I hope it does. Look, I mean, honestly, I'm all for as well the miracle run through the bracket. If another team that finished 5th or 4th, for example, can make that run, that'd be awesome as well. That's a great storyline, but it does feel like we are, you know, beginning to establish a bit of a rivalry between Bliss and the Chiefs. It's starting to brew. If they manage to have like a 5-map banger in the grand final, that would that'd be quite exciting.
Let's go and have a look at those standings, of course. We've already seen them be locked in quite earlier on in the night, but a refresher, Team Bliss, top spot. No longer flawless, though, guys. They have an L. They have their first one. The Chiefs and Order both tied on 14 points, but of course, Chiefs, and all the way back in Playday 1, demolished them 7-2 to get that tiebreaker. Knights and Rufflecopter will then, of course, start things off in the gauntlet. They'll be playing each other, basically. And we have to remember back to Stage 1, Rufflecopter were in that spot and won the first 2 best of 3s.
Yeah, Ruffle will be prepping themselves to take off once again to try and go for a cheeky run, but they do have a hard road ahead of them. Knights is another team that does have the potential to go deep on their day. The Knights finished first in Stage 1, but couldn't complete the job in the grand final, so we don't really know what they have in store for a bracket run, but yeah, difficult to tell. Here is, of course, the bracket. It is basically just 4th and 5th plugged into round 1, and then we go from there. Bliss already locked in to that best of 5 grand final.
Yeah, I think the round 4 could actually just be called grand final, because that's exactly what it is. Obviously, for Order, they will be awaiting the winner of Knights and Rufflecopter, and then Chiefs, they get the benefit of that that 3rd round, just like they did in Stage 1. If we remember back, they were able to win that, and then they took on Knights in the grand final and won that one convincingly. So who knows? This time they might be able to do that to Team Bliss, a team that really now has to show up come playoff time, right? Because Team Bliss was a team in Stage 1, guys, that had a really good regular stage. And then in the playoffs, they got dumpstered by Rufflecopter. They have to make sure that doesn't really happen again.
Yeah, and that's going to come down a lot to their ability to be composed in a long potential best of 5, which could stretch, you know, 5, 6, maybe even 7 hours if it goes for a really long amount of time. So that's going to test their physical and mental endurance, but we also, again, still have questions raised about whether or not their map pool genuinely has the depth. It didn't seem like it in Stage 1. I'm sure that has been improved upon heading into Stage 2, and I'm sure Bliss will be ready and raring to go.
It's been a fabulous Stage 2, hasn't it? It's been, again, pretty close towards those sort of 2nd to 6th place positions. Team Bliss, they ran away with things, guys. They didn't quite get the 7-0. I guess that means the next reload episode's not going to be the Bliss show.
No, it's not. Unfortunate for Bliss. It would have been a good storyline, but maybe. I don't know. Yeah. It is unfortunate for Bliss. I still don't think we have seen a team go perfectly, have a perfect season in the domestic region. So, I mean, maybe that's a goal still that these teams will need to strive for.
Maybe for stage 3. Well, that is going to be stage 2 regulation done. We have, of course, got next week the playoffs and the gauntlet. That is all going to be fascinating, and we will be there along with the rest of the crew to bring you all of the action.
Emo does push up, finds one with the AK-12. Could make it 2, no, but it's OJ to get a quad.
But they're both so low, Juicy. Oh, the Nitro Cell goes down, but he isn't able to find the target. Still, Jack Dad pops up and pops him. An order. Sigh of relief, somehow win that Calamity.
Oh, the lightsaber! Yes!
40 seconds left.
Oh!
What a Kobe from Nico! He just...
No.
Making it really hard.
But by no stretch is Blackbeard viable. At any level, I wouldn't even say you could make it working casually. It's literally that bad. So Nico able to close that out for the UMP. Eventually traded out though from the mud window now. Dino. Oh, the shield! It works! The shield works!
No
he
way!
gets the pick up the Specker. The Knight.
He is the villain. He is the Terminator. Running around, causing a ruckus. Oh my god,
Oh,
God Legion! No, that's not allowed! Very difficult for Team Bliss.
Oh, good swing there from Worthy. And he doubles down there onto Shade.
Rhythm, they've got the two-man advantage as well. AFX doing as much as he can, but he gets shut down as well by Novaeus. Hills, can he go big clutch in the late round? He might just be able to. No. Outnumbered and outgunned. And Rhythm will take the round. Axe Fingers, they don't matter. God Legion, though, can maybe still salvage the round, but Oda is counter-defusing. 1 second left on it. He stops it. Oh, he just goes huge with the triple. He makes it a quad to finish the round for the Chiefs. Oh, what a round. Vast is speechless. He can't believe what just he saw.
I'm running out of time.